Cool. So, hello, everyone, and welcome to STG Weekly episode number 79. Today we'll be talking about Cho Ren Sha 68K, which is probably one of the most famous and well-respected doujin games in the shooting game scene. I'm joined today with fellow host Aquas. Aquas, say hi.
Hey.
And Trap15's also here.
Yo, yo.
And for our replays are provided mostly by Icarus and Grooktook, who have both come on for commentary. Can you guys say hi?
Hello. How you doing?
Hi too.
All right, cool. So yeah, let's talk about Cho Ren Sha 68K.
It's good.
It's good.
It's very good.
Yeah. It's a very fairly simple game. I like it just because it has some of my favorite level design in a shmup. It has no focus mode and a very fast move speed. And usually that feels like a kind of an unfair disadvantage to me. But in this game, there's a very nice emphasis on macro dodging and moving from left to right to catch enemies on either side of the screen constantly. So it just feels really intuitive and fast-paced and fun and frenetic in a way few other shmups really do. So that's what I really like about it.
Yeah, it definitely has a really nice energy. And it's great music, too.
Yeah. Amazing FM synth soundtrack.
Yes.
Definitely worth listening.
I've always thought it was really graphically solid as well. I mean, the background, the infinitely repeating background, I'm not so much a fan of, but pretty much everything else I like.
Yeah, it's a shame because that's probably the one area of the game where it's not quite commercially polished. Like you wouldn't see that in arcade shmup. But everywhere else, the soundtrack, the sprite work, everything else, it looks really great. I mean, the sprites in particular are really nicely detailed and chunky looking.
It does look nice.
Oh, okay.
That's all I got. But this game, it's been requested for episode for a long time, actually, since basically we started STG Weekly. And
yeah.
what is it that is it just the fact that it's a really solid doujin that stands it out, or what is it that everyone loves about Chorensha?
It's a pretty simple game to play.
Super solid game.
Yeah,
and
it's a good game.
Good.
In addition to what I said about the move speed and the frenetic movement pace, it's also a pretty good game for beginners because it gives you a lot of resources. There's a small hitbox. Some of the patterns are fast, but it's not too dense, and it's a pretty easy game to get into. Like if you've never won CC to shmup before and you're looking for a good place to start, I'd say this game is really fun and forgiving place to start.
I see.
Yeah.
So people just played it and they're like, "Damn, this is cool," and then that's how the legacy started.
Yeah.
Sweet. It does look cool.
It's a really cool game, and it's the kind of game that, I mean, at least for me, I can start playing a credit of it, and then like 2 hours later, I look up and I'm like, holy hell, where did my time go? Because I keep playing it and playing it and playing it. You know, I'm not actually, I haven't cleared even the first loop yet because I'm a scrub, but it's just so much fun, and I get really sucked into it, which is nice.
It almost kind of has the enemy patterns and placement almost have that kind of iconic feel, like Ikaruga or Gradius or Darius or whatever. The enemies tend to spawn in rhythm, like they go left, right, and there's a lot of very cool formations. I think it definitely has that kind of old school appeal. I'd say it's like kind of a fusion of a lot of the most fun things about bullet hell with some of the most fun things about classic shooters. So I think it's really a game that should appeal to everyone.
Yeah, people in chat are comparing it favorably to Toapon, which I would absolutely agree with. I feel like it has a lot in common with, especially some of the later Toapon stuff.
Toapon was cited as a influence by the creator, along with Battle Garaga, I think, and Star Force on the NES. In particular, Hisho Zame, I think, was cited as a big influence, and V5.
Seems fair.
Because the original release date was 95, so that's right around when Toe Plan was, ending, basically, right? So...
Yeah, speaking of which, let's talk about the history a little bit. So Cho Ren Sha, as a lot of people are probably aware, was originally released as a doujin game for the Sharp X68000 personal computer in Japan, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that was the 95 release, like the original release of the game. And then the Windows version is actually a port of that, unless I'm mistaken.
That's correct.
So earlier in our conversation before the episode, we were talking about some of the differences between those versions. Do you want to throw those out there now?
The main difference, one of the most important ones, is the game actually moves faster. Trap can explain how that works technically, but basically the PC version is harder because everything moves faster, basically.
So the original version runs at something like 55 frames per second, because that's just a refresh rate with the 68,000. But your PC runs at 60, so nothing was changed, so it just runs 5 frames per second faster on the PC port.
Which is like 10% faster, which is a very significant difference.
Yeah, it's very significant. It's pretty different.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you a reason to play both of them, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But also the Windows port it runs at the pixel aspect ratio, so it's like a square. But on the X68000, it's non-square pixels, so it's 4:3 if you have your monitor set right. So it looks a little bit different. Like, I'm not sure if the game was designed for pixel or aspect ratio, but it's not too big of a difference either way.
I think it looks good either way.
Yeah, it does look fine either way, so it doesn't matter too much.
But like, if you've only played the Windows version and you're seeing it in 4:3 here on the episode, and you're like, "What's going on?" Like Trap was saying, the X68000 has non-square pixels in its native mode. So if you were to play this kind of unsqueezed, this is what it should look like in theory. Jamers, this being even slower sounds kind of painful, to be honest. The game already feels way too long.
Yeah, 50 minutes is pretty tough for a loop. I mean, personally for me on hard mode at least, I feel you get into a really good groove of it near the end. But I think it makes the game kind of a pain to like pick up and play, kind of like Radius 5 syndrome or Radiant Silvergun. You just kind of have to clear your schedule a bit.
All right, cool. Well, let's talk about the system and then dive right into the replays, unless you guys have anything more kind of overarching comments to bring up.
Not really.
Nope.
Let's go for it.
Okay.
Sorry. Do you want to explain? Sorry.
Yeah, I can do. The system is pretty simple, as we mentioned before. There's only 2 weapons, your main shot and your bomb. The main shot powers up, I think, up to level 5. And the power-ups that you get, they will increment for every excessive power-up, starting from 100 and then doubling up until 25,600 points. There is a little trick you can do, though, and this is probably the most difficult part of the actual scoring run, is that you can sit in between the power-up triangle that appears, and it will start spinning really quickly until it disappears and you pick up all 3 of the power-ups at once. And that's the key scoring element in the game, because there's a lot of power triangles and you can pretty much keep full power for quite a long time. You get an extend for every 1,000,000 points, but the extend appears in place of a shield. So if you're trying to pick up the extend from the power-up triangle, you have to be careful that you don't accidentally pick up one of the other power-ups or you lose it.
Yep.
Yep. There is an end of stage bonus, which is pretty sizable, which is based on whether or not you're carrying a shield, how many bombs you have, and how many lives you have. Yep.
Your mic is freaking out.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Okay, let's try to pick up from here. You were saying that there's an end of stage bonus, which is basically bombs and lives.
And
shield,
also
yeah.
your shield. If you
Yes.
have your shield up, you also get a bonus for that.
And I think you're back now, Icarus. Can you say something?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're okay
But-
now.
Mhm.
Yeah, so basically to play for score, you want to essentially no miss and get all of the power-up triangles and keep
Yeah.
shield and bombs as much as you can through the stages, correct?
That's right, yeah. Like I said, the end of stage bonus gets quite high as you get through the first and second loops, up until a point where you're actually getting over 1 million at the end of each stage, which is basically a free extend. So if you're scoring really well, you can have over 20 lives by the end of the game, and that contributes a lot to your score.
Yeah. It's worth noting also that the loop actually increases your score by a good deal. I don't know exactly how it works, if there's some sort of multiplier based on loop, but like for example, as a test, I went into a normal mode and killed the first wave of enemies, and that gives 1,000 points, and then tried it on hard mode, and that gives 4,000 points. So by the time you get to the second loop, the score is really starting to snowball with all those extends, and you're just kind of getting them like a runaway train.
Yeah, I think that's more of a hard mode multiplier for score than anything else, because in normal mode, when you get to the loop, you get points for every suicide bullet that's fired at you. It's
Yeah.
like a very small amount, but it does add up over time, especially throughout the later stages. So you've got a choice of either sealing bullets, which will keep you alive in some cases, or you can choose to sit back and let all the suicide bullets come to you and you get points for it.
I didn't know that. I thought it was just based on enemy kills. Didn't realize it was suicide bullets.
Yeah, it's not really noticeable because it's only a really small amount, but it does add up a little bit towards the end, so it is worth trying for it.
That's probably why the later loops are so much more high scoring than normal mode, because with like hard mode, every suicide bullet is like 6 shots or something like that, and even more on the bonus loops that you can access via debug or just continuing after beating the game. So that's quite a bit.
Yeah, some of the later loops fire so many bullets at you that you're getting a lot of points for them anyway, so it is worth it. Yeah, otherwise the scoring system is pretty much quite simple from there. It's enemy kills, as we mentioned before. You can hit stuff with your shot, which will give you points as well, and you can choose to milk certain attacks from bosses and enemies, which I'll go into when we hit the replay.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah,
There is
I was gonna
quite
mention,
a few more tricks.
Yeah, there's a few specific tricks on bosses. Like the stage 2 boss has a secret form, and then there's a milkable attack on one of the last bosses that only shows up if you destroy certain parts and whatnot. And besides that, sometimes killing all the enemies is a bit tricky. For example, the turtle guy is on stage 3.
Since we're getting more into specifics, do we maybe want to go into the replay now?
Yeah, that would be fine.
Yeah, can do.
We should.
All right. So let's switch over. All right. Uh-oh.
Mhm.
I do not see chat. That is odd. Okay. Let me fix that really quickly. I have a backup chat window, so I can just do that.
Backup chat.
I do. I've had this problem before, where when I'm previewing the episode, the chat works fine, and then when I'm actually broadcasting, it doesn't work. So I have a backup chat window already set up. So okay, we're good.
Man.
So yeah,
Cool.
Are we all queued up? We're watching the
Yes.
normal mode 2-all replay from Icarus right now.
I'm at 0 seconds on the replay.
All right,
That good?
Yep, I'm ready.
drop.
Yep.
All right, sweet. Then 3, 2, 1, and go. I love this opening, man.
Oh wow.
No.
Yeah,
it's
that'll
pretty
become
sick.
relevant a little bit later.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know about that already.
That's pretty sweet.
Just one thing to point out, in the beginning of the replay was the score table, and you might have seen Tiger Heli in the names. when you boot up the game for the first time, all the names on the score table are references to other shmups that the developer liked. So you get like Hishozame, Don Pachi, etc.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of references to other games in this. We mentioned references earlier. These enemies that are appearing right now actually appear in the end credits of Rekka.
Oh yeah. It's based on the like when you beat Rekka, there's that to be continued sign, and like a big boss, and that you never get to fight because there was never a sequel. But so that's kind of a homage to this. Like, okay, you get to fight here. Yeah. Oh, also this is important. If you speed kill these guys, you get an extra enemy, 2 extra enemies who are worth a lot. These angel guys, they're very milkable.
Yeah, these mines are worth a lot of points, so it's worth trying to get them as quickly as possible. But otherwise, the stage is pretty straightforward up until the first boss, where there's a little trick you can do to get more points out of it. But otherwise, yeah, it's just blowing through all the different formations and shooting everything as quickly as possible. Here, I'm going to do the triangle collection trick. As you can see, you sit in the middle of the triangle, it speeds up, and then you pick up all 3 at once. It's actually quite scary though, because if you're off center from the power-up triangle, you have less room to actually tap down in, and you can accidentally pick up a power-up doing that way as well. So if you're trying it, you want to be dead center or as close to dead center as possible to give yourself the best chance of doing it.
Yeah, and one thing that I've only learned about a couple days ago when I was researching for this episode is that you actually get a short period of invincibility when you successfully do the pickup.
That's right. Yeah, it's about 1.5 seconds.
If you're playing purely for survival, it's pretty useful because, like, if you're being chased by a cloud of bullets, you can just grab one real quick. Obviously, you don't want to do that score though. Yeah. Also, if you saw, there's a very important trick where when there's 2 power-up carriers, you can move inside the first one before destroying it to get them both. It's extremely useful. Yeah.
And there's a little trick with this boss here where if you get it to shoot each other using the charge shot, you get 20,000 points each time.
So
and
cool.
then
I love that you can do that.
Yeah, and then when they destroy each other with the charge shot, they release shrapnel, which you bomb for further points. My score here is a little bit low compared to what I've seen. Normally you can get around 850,000 here, but I missed a couple of bits of shrapnel. But otherwise, I'm pretty much on target for a pretty decent score here. So Stage 2 is pretty nondescript as well. It's pretty simple. There's a lot of enemies.
Except for this music. This music is so good.
Music is so good,
I love the Stage 2 theme.
The track name is actually called Justice of Galaxy, so there's a bit of English in there, but it's good fun.
Yeah.
Just wanted to point out really fast, thank you guys in the chat for notifying me that it was now readable, that the new one caught up. I think I know why that happened, and I'll fix it before the next episode, so thank you.
So here you can see like those blue enemies on the side. It's a good example of the rhythm in this game. They just pop out left, right, left, right. You really have to keep on just using all the horizontal space to hit them.
Yeah.
It's not a game where you just kind of micro dodge or tap in place. There's a lot of movement.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, a lot of the stages are pretty easy to learn as well, so most of the time it's just a case of memorizing where the bigger ones are.
Your mic is freaking out again.
Mr. Roboto.
We'll just say
I love this mic.
When it happens, we'll just say Roboto as a code word.
Oh man, this is pretty entertaining.
It's better now.
Oh god.
And now you're fine again.
Unroboto.
Skype.
Yeah, pretty much.
These enemies you can't shoot until they open up,
Yeah, these guys, if you don't quick kill them, they can be very aggravating, actually.
Yeah, they shoot a pretty mammoth laser. That's it, and a good example of how the developer put a little bit of risk-reward there. I mean, there's not much risk once you know how to do it, but it's pretty intense looking, just ramming them right in the front as they're about to shoot it.
So, on the subject of kind of risk and quick kills and damage in this game, one thing that I thought was really interesting reading the developer interview, there's a translated interview with the developer that Black Oak put up on Shmuplations. The full-powered shot is actually only like 1.37 times more powerful than the weakest shot. It just looks a lot more powerful. I thought that was really interesting, that there was a lot of experiments with kind of the game balance there. Which works really well because this game is actually not that hard to recover from, even though you do depower when you die. and I'm sure that has a lot to do with it.
Another thing on that note, from that interview, is that he wanted to make point blanking very powerful, but he didn't want a shot limit or anything. So what he did was he basically decreased the vulnerable areas on enemy sprites, so that you have to be very close to get the full spread shot to hit. Also, this is the stage 2 boss. If you refrain from destroying him for a while, he eventually shoots these little drones while
I've
doing.
never seen this.
I've never seen this before.
Yes,
either.
and it's kind of hard to multitask, but you get a lot of points. And then that creates a different second phase where these helper drones shoot lasers at you with the rest of the pattern. It's quite difficult. I'd say it's around about as hard as some of the endgame bosses now. Until you kill those drones, that is.
Yeah, it's kind of a reset part if I get hit there, because you lose a fair bit of points at the beginning, but like I mentioned before, the end of stage bonus is quite sizable if you're playing well, so you basically want to try and not get hit throughout the first loop.
Yeah, I hadn't, on my hard mode replay, I hadn't practiced that part, so I basically skip it on both loops. Right now I'm trying to work on a better replay, which no misses and no bombs the first loop of hard, and I get all the secrets like that.
Yeah.
So, these kind of chains of enemies here that are invincible at first, they can be quite tricky to deal with.
They can do, yeah.
Even
That's
once
why
you
I
know the
bumped on that
formation.
section. Yeah.
You also have to, for many of them, you have to go inside the chain in order to kill them all, like Icarus just did there. Of course, there's no real. They've stopped shooting by then, so there's no reason to do that except for score. So it's kind of a risk-reward element.
In theory, they're not that bad. I mean, a lot of it's just tapping, but like you really have to know what they're gonna do because they put a lot of shit on the screen and really constrain your movement.
One of my favorite parts in the whole game in any shmup is if you're on hard mode and that part where they come up from the sides and kind of box you in. You get suicide bullets coming from the top and the blue lasers coming from your sides, and it's just this awesome multitasking moment. I think I bombed it or maybe survived it on the second loop of hard, but I just love getting to that part. It makes my day every time.
I do like how there's a lot of different types of the enemy projectiles, like the purple lasers and the blue bullets and different colors of bullets and stuff. And all different types of attacks. It's really nice.
There's even some unused bullets on some of the extra loops. Also, this is my favorite track in the game by far.
So Icarus, were you milking those little mines there?
Yes, I try and get as many of them as I can, but obviously you can't get that many of them. But every little bit helps, of course. This boss is
I like to call them the Angels, or that's how I've heard them referred before. But
I call them Angels as well.
Yeah, those can get. It's easy to get hit if you let them get too close to the bottom because they just continuously spawn those drones, and sometimes they have a bit of HP, so there's a bit of a delay on when they spawn and you kill them.
Yeah, the ones that appear later, the red-colored ones, are also quite dangerous as well because they fire a lot faster and they fire a lot more stuff as well.
So I've always felt like this boss is kind of where the game starts to get hard because its patterns are they're relatively simple, but they can kind of really mess you up if you're not paying attention. You're not kind of on game, especially when it shoots the lasers down.
Yeah, I love that.
It's a great pattern, but yeah, it can really fuck with you.
Yeah, I think that laser is technically aimed, but it's aimed in certain angles, so you can misdirect it in places.
Oh, nice bomb there to get the one up.
Yeah, that's another trick you can do. If you feel like you're in danger trying to get the power-up triangles, you can bomb and you'll get another bomb back from it. So, and I'd use that quite a lot as well. So, I mean, some of these power-up triangles are quite tricky to get with all this stuff on screen.
Yes, definitely.
That is one of the coolest parts of the scoring system because you get these moments where the rings are closing in on you and you're just about to get the score on the invulnerability, but there's bullets that are like an inch away from you, so you really have to play chicken with those bullets.
Yeah, it's a lot of risk trying to do this, so you basically have to, like I mentioned before, memorize what's coming up, and if you're safe, you just sit there and you'll get it immediately, or if there's enemies coming, then you can choose to protect yourself.
On later loops, the suicide bullets are very random, so that makes it a bit harder. That's why if you're playing on the later loops or hard, you probably want to have a bit of a route down for when to steal the bullets. Otherwise, you could easily just get screwed over and not be able to score that way.
Yeah. Banana-matic, I'm not using autofire on this because this replay is like 12 years old. I had a PlayStation 1 joypad with the USB adapter. The autofire rate is actually quite fast though, so you don't really need to tap that quickly to generate a good rate.
Yeah, it's not like Darius Garden or whatever. The developer mentioned that if you deliberately set it so that you can reach the maximum fire rate by fairly leisurely tapping, basically.
Yeah.
The only exception is if you're point blanking, you might have to hammer a little bit harder, but otherwise it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I think it's closer to the slave ships in the Raiden Fighters series, where you just tap it rhythmically and it still gives you a pretty fast autofire rate.
Yeah, I really like that about the game. Actually, it doesn't require you to tap at incredibly feverish paces.
The developer actually compared it to popping bubble wrap in the interview.
Yeah, apparently it maxes out at tapping at 4 Hz anyways, so it doesn't really matter how fast you tap. You just have to tap.
Also, this blimp boss, as I like to call it, is pretty brutal, especially on the later loops, where every single one of these parts spawns quite a bit of suicide bullets. Also, probably worth, I don't know if I should mention this later, but in the loops, suicide bullets are actually spawned from random positions inside the boss's parts, which makes like huge enemies like this big trouble.
Yeah, in the later loop I don't actually kill most of these off, just to be safe. Here though you can pretty much target all of them.
Yeah, I used a lot of bombs. For my current playthroughs, I almost have a route down for killing all of them on hard, but it's quite tricky. This is some of the hardest dodging in the game, I find.
This is probably where the game starts to pick up, I feel. Ooh!
Oh yeah, and like you said with picking up, with the super fast moving and all the tapping you do, as you get into the game, you just really get into the flow of it, and by the end you have this like really hyper fun feel to it that I really like a lot.
These later stages are definitely a lot of fun. There's a great rhythm to them.
I find this stage probably one of the trickier ones. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was going to mention that these guys are kind of similar to the carriers, the big battleships on the last stage, except you can go on top of them like this, but they also have a lot of turrets which have a lot of HP, and things get really crowded if you don't kill them. Like we're seeing some really bad stuff here.
I imagine that you do want to destroy the turrets separately for more points, correct?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So
I think it's the small
complicates
enemies
things.
that cause a lot of problems here for me.
Plus, if you focus on, I find that if you try to focus on the core, you use the turrets just, flood you with bullets, so it's probably best to just dart around and kill all the turrets as fast as possible.
Did you take a shield hit there?
Yeah, I got hit there. This mid-boss is quite tricky because the small enemies that appear either side can, trap you within the bullet patterns. There should be another shield coming up though.
His patterns are amazing fun though. There's one you didn't see there where he shoots this kind of big dent spread that forces you to move around. It's quite fun.
Yeah, these small enemies which fire these double lasers are. I mean, the lasers are really slow, so they
really
take
fills
up
the
the
screen.
space. Yeah.
You have to move quite a bit to macro these. You notice it kind of does the Yugawa type of thing, where a lot of the bullets come in these big twin shots that you have to go around. Battle Garago was also cited as a big influence on this.
Yeah.
It doesn't show in the rank or anything, but I think it's kind of evident in some of the patterns and whatnot. He also mentioned in the interview that there's a random element on scoring on the first stage, but I'm not entirely sure what that is. It might be the debris or the Angel's drone spawning, no idea.
Oh, this boss is awesome.
Possibly.
Oh yeah, I love
this boss is really cool.
Yeah, this boss is pretty good. Yeah, you can pick off all of these blue panels for points. It's worth doing as well. I think it's like 2,000 points each one, so...
They do eventually run out to prevent infinite milking, which is also a really nice touch.
Yeah, and then it spawns another 5 panels, the grey ones, which are like 10,000 points each.
Yep.
So I'm
And
trying to
of course,
pick off
the more
as
that
many
you
of the-
pick off, the longer the boss goes, and the more tricky his attacks get, in addition to the attacks
Yeah.
from the panels. So it's a really fun fight, especially if you're trying to play it for score.
Yeah. That's one of the nice things about this boss I like, is that it gets angrier the more bits you pick off.
Nice.
And on later loops, of course, each bit spawns a suicide bullet or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, these gray ones,
Ooh.
it
Nice.
gets really tight if you don't
Yeah.
kill them quickly.
The patterns in this game, I've heard a lot of people talk about them. They're very simple, but like they kind of threaten you in creative ways. It's not the hardest thing in the game. I mean, I came to this game right after, spending a lot of time with Kitsui, so it felt pretty forgiving. But they do have, there's a lot of fun in these patterns because they're just very simple, intuitive, and clever, basically.
Yeah. I love this stage music. Probably
Yeah,
one of the best stages as well.
Stage 6 is just so good.
Yeah.
For reference, like I said, I have not actually cleared the first loop, but I've made it like to the last part of the last boss of the first loop. I just
Yeah.
feel so bad about that.
Yeah. This stage gets tricky because there's a lot of big enemies that fire clumps of bullets at you, so you need to learn which order to destroy them in and how to move around on the stage. Like these ones,
Yeah.
they can.
I was
Yeah.
going to mention, it's kind of another example of how I mentioned that the game really prioritizes a lot of fast movement, because you really have to, if you don't want them to just smother you in bullets, you have to be quickly darting around and point blanking them as fast as you can. Destroy very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is getting pretty epic.
Yeah, it's cool. It just keeps going and going and going. I love that you go for the power-up triangles even when you get one-ups. Like, I would be too scared if a one-up was on the screen. I'd just, like, grab the one-up.
Yeah,
and
that's
go.
always a oh shit moment.
Yeah, you have to though if you're going for the highest score. Like I mentioned before, the end of stage bonus is very high
Yeah.
when you get to the loop, so it's definitely worth it in the long run, even though it's quite risky.
Well, it looks like the power-up circles fall down a little bit even when you're grabbing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
those-
continue
fall down,
to
it comes
move down.
down.
Exactly.
And
It's
that's
kind
what
of
makes it
it's a
hard.
technique. Grabbing the power frames is kind of a technique unique to this game, because you're kind of first you maneuver inside, then you're kind of tapping backwards. You really need to like
Right.
get the feel of it, the timing. But once you do, it's fairly consistent, except when you got a million bullets around you.
It's definitely a skill, and the fact that there's an invisibility period at the end actually makes it a lot more palatable, because there's a lot of places where I would never do it because I'm like, oh, I'm vulnerable during this whole thing. But now that I know, like, oh, when it finishes, I'm invincible.
Yeah, it's
for
very
just a second.
satisfying when you get that big score boost and you just go on a rampage, point blanking everything.
Yeah.
Cool.
Boss music changes here for the last two bosses, and the music is pretty good as well.
Yeah.
Yes. I love how it's got this almost like gothic sound to it. It's so
Yeah, the
great.
work gets simulated on FF10.
So good.
Almost sounds like, was it Bloody Tears, or is it Vampire Killer that I'm thinking
Yeah,
of?
you know what? You're totally right. It kind of does.
Do 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 do. Simon Belmont disappears as a boss.
So this boss, I actually think this guy is where the bosses actually get fairly tricky. Usually my deal is that I find the stages to be the hard part, and the bosses are a little bit easier going. But this guy, he has some tricky intersecting patterns, which can screw you over if you don't read them carefully.
Yeah, the second form I find quite difficult because it does a lot of very small needle-style lasers here.
Yeah.
And if you're not careful, they can trap you because they are fired randomly.
Yes. And- oh man, this song. Oh god.
The synth shredding. The
So
synth
good.
shred.
Right.
This pattern is a dick the first few times
Yeah.
you fight it.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Nice
very
dodges.
very uncharacteristically depth in this game. Oh,
Yeah.
also the super fast needle attack is aimed, so once you know that, you can kind of tap it.
Yeah.
Yeah, really creative, like bullet patterns that.
Yeah. Except for the wave, that's a
Oh,
moment
awesome.
for raid, and like every raid boss has, like final boss has that pattern.
Also, note that the
Oh.
background is now recolored. I've always found that really interesting.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. We're going with them.
Yep.
All the enemies are red now, kind of more HP and are more dangerous. Also, you definitely, those 3 opening rocket firing guys, you definitely want to speed kill them and know where they spawn, because the rockets they fire, not only are they really fast, but they're no longer destructible. So
Yep,
those
that's
can,
right.
it's not that they're very fast, so that can really catch you off guard if you don't kill them fast.
Big purple bullets, yeah.
Love those.
Fly,
Roboto.
I like how they wobble. It's a good
Yeah.
effect.
Oh man.
I'm a robot. Oh.
Yeah, you're okay now. I think
This is easily one of my favorite stages in Shmups.
it's so good, and the music
It's very
is so
fast
good.
paced.
Yeah. Like, I love the way if you don't kill those big guys fast enough, those purple needles they fire can like kind of trap you in the corner, and you have to do some really huge dodges to escape. They
Yeah,
just kind of like form walls around you.
yeah, this bit is quite scary. Yeah,
Yeah.
Hate
Wow.
Oh yeah, these guys are annoying because they're like the exception to when I said that the move speed generally doesn't feel annoying, because if you don't kill these guys fast, the patterns get really dense, and it's pretty tricky to tap through them at the speed you're going.
yeah.
So this game is it considered a vertical then? I mean,
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
because it makes use of
maybe-
the screen space really nicely though.
Yeah, it does.
Despite
It's
that.
not quite as wide as like Mars Matrix or Gigawing or whatever, but it's definitely bigger than your average. I forget the word, but
Well, I think part of the
Yeah.
reason that it feels like it makes good use of the screen space that just has to do with the fact that it's programmed for a square pixel ratio.
yeah, exactly. But
'Cause-
also, like I said earlier, the enemies, like even here, you can see with these triangle guys, they go left, right, left, right. You have to
Yep.
keep moving from side to side and just really make use of all that space to dodge.
Yeah.
This boss coming up is very important because there's a very important scoring trick that you can do. You're going to see here that I'm going to concentrate on the right eye and the nose. When you destroy both of those and then wait, it spawns mines and darts at you, which you milk for points. And the point gain is, I wouldn't say it's huge, but it is enough to get you over the extend at this point. So, but the patterns are quite scary here because
Yes,
they like
very
to
much
spread
so.
everywhere.
I'd also like to note, as was pointed out to me, that the boss is actually a giant version of your own ship.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh sweet.
Oh damn!
I never
didn't
saw that
notice
before.
that.
I mean, I always thought like it looks like a giant big viper or something, but I never realized that. That's
Yeah.
fucking cool.
A lot of these attacks in the first phase are actually like aimed away from you, so you can actually kind of stay in the center and they all kind of intersect around you. It's pretty fun to do, but you don't
Yeah,
really need to since he's going for the trick where you kill the first side first and then multiple points.
So,
Oh, and here's Blackheart's Vulcan attack from Garega. Usually
Yeah,
both
yeah.
sides do that, except it
That's-
has that nasty circular shot spread.
so what's the trick for scoring here?
Like I said, destroy right eye, destroy the nose, and then wait until it starts generating mines, which you'll see in a second.
Okay.
Ooh.
So it's,
Yeah, you
it's
can
kind of
tap
like a
to them.
long-term payoff thing.
Here we go.
Oh yeah, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, and this will go on for about a minute or so, but the point gain is enough to get you over the extend limit.
So
I actually
cool.
didn't know about this when I had my replay, so I actually skipped that. But at that point, I'm very trying not to die because I don't have any shields. So probably you
Yeah.
probably wouldn't do that when you're just trying to survive the game anyway.
Yeah.
So cool. Cool. Those drones look like little paper airplanes, those ones.
I call them darts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Or darts. Feathered
Yeah.
darts things.
Yeah, this will go on for a little bit longer. But it's worth it though.
Boss is all like, paper airplanes, haha, I didn't expect that.
Yep. and now
Along
I'll
with
go
the
for
stage 2 bosses drones, this is probably one of the most significant scoring tricks for a boss. I might even call it a secret, since if you're just playing normally, you probably won't see this. He'll likely die before he gets anywhere near this, or you'll have both sides killed.
Yep.
Oh, it blew up.
And
Now for the massive story twist.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
There's
this
not an
point I
endless
had-
battle.
Yeah.
So yeah, the explosion of the last boss of the first loop is the start of the game. And
Yeah.
it's the start of the game in the second loop as well. And it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, it's fucking brilliant.
Stable time loop.
Now at this point I had about 8.7 million starting the loop. The highest I've seen is 9.3.
Wow, that's a damn good run then.
Yeah, it's a very good run, that one.
Yeah, it's probably the best I've seen. The only other replay of note, there's a no-miss run by a Japanese player, which isn't that hard. I mean, it's not much harder than this until you get to TLP, who is a massive, massive difficulty spike.
Yeah,
Oh.
the TLP is horrible.
Okay, so
Horrible.
Plasmo, that he says that's what I call a loop, literally. Well, to make it even funnier, I've heard that there's suspicion that the reason that there's only one background is that you're actually going around the outside of a giant cylinder.
Yeah, that's
And
why I like to
that's
make
why
like
you keep going
a
back
giant
and back
halo
to the
ring or
same
something.
place. Yeah,
Oh, so that's what the literal was.
yeah, it's fucking amazing.
This is some Halo shit. Halo the shmup.
Yep.
The Halo.
So let's talk about the suicide bullets because this is a pretty big deal with the loop.
Yeah, they're very fast. For normal enemies, they're generally predictable because they're aimed at you. But for larger enemies, like I said, they spawn in random positions within the enemy's sprite. And the larger the enemy is, the more bullets will spawn. So that's very different, dangerous for like the blimps or some of the item carriers or whatnot. Also, as the developer mentioned in the interview, the code for aiming shots at you is based on Hishozame, where there's a little bit of a random element in how they're aimed at you. It uses a random number to round off how many degrees it's aimed at you, so that can cause a little bit of unpredictability. It's
Okay.
generally manageable though.
So in terms of, like, are they always large bullets like that, or are they sometimes smaller?
Yeah,
Also
they're
noticing
all
that the boss fires them at you too, which is always a dick move.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
always that size, but like I said, for larger enemies, sometimes more of them spawn. And that is kind of tricky at the end, because they kind of crisscross you on that boss's death.
The earth was really hollow.
Man, you guys gotta do that game sometime soon. I love
I
Diamond.
know we do. I was actually considering doing it for this episode instead of Cho Ren Sha, but then I'm like, you know what? I really just want to see if it disconnects. So, all right. So let's all. Are we all synced up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So 3, 2, 1, click.
Alright, here we are. Yeah,
Alright.
see, there's a good example. Those guys spawn multiple suicide bullets from random positions within the sprite.
Yeah.
That's
and
like,
it looks kind of like random times too. Like some of them are delayed
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, actually you did mention that. That's also a Twelopin reference. It's inspired by the suicide bullets in the second loop of V5, which spawn somewhat randomly. I mean not randomly, they spawn on a slight delay. If I remember correctly, Aikida of Cave actually worked on that game, and he actually mentioned being proud of the way the suicide bullets are delayed like that.
That explains how suicide bullets in Ketsui behave, actually, if he liked that, because they do exactly the same thing in Ketsui, where they spawn kind of over a period of time.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense for both games because there's a heavy emphasis on point blanking in both games.
Yes, definitely. And Plasma, yes, we will be showing a hard mode replay just after this. The first loop
Hard
only.
mode Kuso replay.
I'm sure it's fine.
The clarification, I enjoy that. Kuso!
Yeah.
Kasaw!
Man. And there's like so much detail in all the bosses too, and their forms. It's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, worth noting, but the suicide bullets are actually the only thing that changes on the loops and hard mode, I believe. So that means that bosses are pretty much the same until they die. The only exception for that being the ones that have lots of destructible parts, like the blimps on stage 4, or the pods on the stage 5 boss. That causes them to be quite a bit better.
Ooh. That hit there.
Yeah. That bomb clear
and
those
those
just to get
little
them out the way.
side parts also have suicide bullets. That's pretty evil.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they'll like
that bomb
come
is
down
quiet.
and snipe you from the side, man.
Yeah. You see, there's a lot of leading as well for the suicide bullets because on certain bosses they do fill up the screen a lot. Yeah. This stage is where it gets really scary in the loop though, because these enemy chains, obviously they fire suicide bullets as well. And yeah.
Oh,
So
you
can
did.
you seal in this game at all?
Yeah,
You
you
can
can.
seal.
You can seal. As you mentioned earlier, it takes a little bit of your points off, but it's generally worth it, especially if you're going for the power frames.
Yeah.
And it's pretty fun. It adds a nice little aggressive game side to the game. It's really fun when you get like a big cloud of Zackos like that to just scoot by and nail them all at close range.
Yeah.
Nice bomb there. Yeah, I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, I have to bomb a lot now because there's a lot of suicide bullets coming.
Now, see, this is very fun with multitasking and with shots coming from every angle. It's pretty wise to bomb there, though.
Yeah.
Bombing, there's generally not much reason to bomb for score in this game, except just you don't want to get hit. Because as I believe that the score bonus you get for having maxed out bombs when you grab the power rings pretty much exceeds anything you could get by bombing most enemies, with a few exceptions.
Yeah, the only
It's-
exception.
it's-
The only
Oh,
exception is the stage 1 boss. If you
Yeah.
bomb the shrapnel, it gives you a lot more points than if you shoot them.
Oh, that.
I guess
snipe
that's
there.
probably another Garega reference.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. Yeah, this is where it gets really scary when you don't have a shield.
Man, yeah, when you don't have a shield, you're just like, oh god, I don't want to get hit, I don't want to get hit, I don't want to get hit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you'll see a lot
very
of
scary.
safety play here. I'm trying to hold out for the shield, which will be coming quite soon.
Right here, yeah.
Yeah, about here.
See, there's even kind of a rhythm on the way those guys move and open their shields. Like the kind of conveyor belt movement is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's also nice to see an enemy that actually shields you and can't be hit all the time. Kind of reminds. I kind of miss that in games like Irem, where you had to, or Gradius, with the cores, where you have to get to a specific position or timing to hit the enemy. Don't see that a lot these days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's definitely a feature that's more common to kind of an older, more gradual, like memo-heavy kind of style of shooting game, and it's interesting to see it come up in what is generally a much more fast-paced game like Cho Ren Sha.
Yeah.
It works pretty well.
Yep. Definitely adds a lot of character to this particular stage.
Nasty Wolverine. This game has soul.
Yeah, you see that end bonus was 850,000.
Yeah.
Pretty soon it'll be over 1 million.
That's
Damn.
nuts. So you're literally extending every time you clear a stage.
That's right, yeah. In some cases you get 2 extends right at the beginning of each stage.
Yeah, I mean, I was noticing that at the last stage. Like you got to extend right away.
Yeah.
That's
It is worth it,
super
though.
cool.
This stage is quite scary because these huge enemies, they fire a lot of suicide bullets as you see.
Yeah.
But
Plus,
it's
they
also
come to you very close.
yeah. And there's a lot of small enemies that appear as well, so
Yeah.
the screen gets filled very quickly.
I'll probably talk more about this later, but one thing I really like about the loops and hard is that it kind of not nearly as hard, but it kind of reminds me of something Dell was talking about with his Mookie Mookie Pork run, Basically, the game has a rhythm to it and some routes and whatnot, but it adds a really huge random element and a lot of chaos. So you're following a route, but there's a lot of really fun, crazy improvisations you have to make, which just make it really fun every time.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, this no shield, man. This is
Yeah,
Always
pretty
scary.
scary.
And it's a very big risk-reward element to the score, because if you die, that is the worst possible thing that can happen for score. Because your power level goes back to 0,
Oh,
your
that was-
bombs go to 3, etc. So you have to power up again before you can start getting the power ring bonus. So that's like a big chunk of a stage score.
yeah.
Yep. And like I mentioned before, the extend actually appears in place of a shield, so if you have no shield, you've got to get one first before you get the extend.
Yep.
Oh man.
Which is interesting and kind of forgiving in a way, but also kind of dickish at the same time.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Oh
Absolutely
my-
hate it in loop.
Yeah. Oh man, already lost the shield.
is
Oh
terrifying.
god. Oh god. Nasty Wolverine, we're not planning on showing the entire hard mode replay simply because that would take way too long. We're going to show the first loop because I have been told it is more difficult than the second loop, and we'll go into why that is when we start showing it. Oh man, this is
Survival
it's
tactics.
hard to watch.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy because bullets are coming at you from every angle. So like, it's another good example of how you're just moving around constantly all over the screen, zigzagging. It's really a different style of moving and dodging than, the focused micro dodging you see in most small hitbox games. It's really fresh to come to.
Yeah.
And you're just like, no, I'm not going to deal with that. Just go off the screen.
Yeah, just leave it, yeah.
And like I said, that goes to how forgiving the game is. You do have a lot of resources, so if you have a basic idea of the stages and bosses, you really can just bomb through a lot. But obviously, you don't want to be doing that for score.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 3 or 4 item carriers per stage, and each of those carries, a bomb, shield. So you do have a lot of crutches for once seeing the game once you get the hang of it.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, you get that many bombs in the game, you should use them,
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
for scoring, but for defense.
Yeah.
It's especially noticeable because, like I said, I came to the game after spending like 50 hours on
Oh,
Tips 2.
man.
That game is just so brutal. Oh, damn it. I wish I saw that. I'm a little bit behind on my replay. Was that the hit on the shield?
Oh man.
Yeah, that was
Just
the
like-
hit, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so the bomb came out afterwards there. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That dodge,
dodge.
Icarus, that dodge was beautiful.
Wow. What? Alright.
Love
That's a dodge, alright.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
the
a
game
lot of
does
risk
really encourage those really wacky dodging moments.
Yeah, Jamers has kind of a good point. Like when you die, it's kind of like okay, game over. Like because you're at such a disadvantage for score, and you
Yeah.
have to power back up for survival. But it is relatively difficult to die.
On normal mode, it's not that hard to die once you know what you're doing, but on hard, you really do have to put those resources to use if you don't want to. Like I said, I actually died twice on the first loop of my run. I think once on this stage, which only reason I didn't restart was because the death was quite hilarious. But there's also death on the last stage because by that time it's getting really hard that you actually start to run out of resources for real, so you do have to fall back on some good dodging.
Yeah.
So you're
Normally
still
I wouldn't
looking
be doing
always.
this. Yeah, normally I wouldn't be doing it if I was in a really good run, but yeah. It's because it's quite scary with the suicide bullets, as you can see.
Yeah.
And as it gets angrier, it becomes a lot harder to get around them.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah. In some cases, I'm actually picking my spots of when to attack.
Yeah, I'm noticing that. You're like, okay, I don't want to get more shit on the screen right now.
Yeah. When it starts firing this 5-way spread of arrows, it becomes a lot more difficult.
Yeah. I mean, that attack really kind of locks down your screen space.
It does.
That is, I'll probably talk about this more on hard mode, but that's a big part of the appeal for hard mode for me, because there's a lot of things that lock off certain parts of the screen, so you have to be even faster to be in the right place at the right time.
Oh, man.
Whoop.
Nice.
Yeah, go for the kill here since I've destroyed the middle one.
Yeah.
I'm not risking it any longer. This is where the loop gets very scary.
940,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This stage is great in the loop though, it's so fast paced.
Yeah.
It should be a double extend here as well.
Yep, very nice. Of course, then you immediately take a hit. Ouch.
Yeah. Should be another power up carry here though coming up. Yeah, there it is.
Get the shield, get the shield!
Yeah,
nice.
one of those intense moments. Oh shit, I just saw that. That's great.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, Plasmo, 17 lives.
Yeah, you can see that these red angels defy mines as well, but it's really not worth the risk in trying to milk them.
Yeah, because they have a lot more. Well, the red enemies all have much more HP. When you get to stage 0, everything's red, so pretty much everything has more HP.
Yeah.
Well, and they just get, it's just so messy. I mean, they just throw so much shit on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in some cases, can you delay like waves of enemies by not killing stuff?
Yes,
Or
you can.
okay.
Yeah. Sometimes you just let them go off screen, and you know you can get a few seconds of breathing space.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple places where there's bonus enemies as well, where they
Yeah,
only
the
show up if you
angels
kill
on the
things
first
quickly.
stage are a good example of that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we probably should have pointed that out.
Well, actually, we did point that out when we were there.
Ooh. Whoa.
Oh
nice.
man, that dodge was nice.
Yeah.
That was nice. The lives are a lie.
I think I had about 21 lives at one point
That
in
would,
this run.
that would make sense given what your score ends up being.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even in the loop, this boss isn't that hard, so it's the next stage where it becomes very nasty. And like we mentioned before, the bosses don't really change in the loop. The only thing that's added is- Good God. Exterminate.
There you go. Yeah, those are just our special effects here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time that happens, you need to say some lines from Glaylancer, because it sounds totally the same.
Or all your base. Just to throw it back.
Or do the Ibana, like the opening
Oh,
from
yeah.
that.
See, if you watch closely, you can see that some of the side shots miss this boss, even though they seem to be passing through the sprites. Like I said, the enemies in this game have smaller hitboxes, damaging them than they appear to, so you gotta get really close to point blank them. It's a very interesting balancing tool. I mean, when the developer interview, he talks a lot about how he was trying all sorts of different things, like melee weapons, shot limits, to get that point blanking feel just right. Eventually he decided on that, and it was like a real eureka moment. But it also meant he spent like a lot of time refining the hitboxes till they were just right.
Overflowed the total counter.
1,080,000 points just for that stage.
Oh man.
Oh wow, that I don't think I've ever seen that overflow there. That's really cool.
And double one
another
up.
2 extents.
That's so great.
I think the world record score has about 23, 24 lives by the TLB.
Huh.
Oh man.
Do you know who the world record is? I haven't searched this game on Nico Video.
It should be Zap, I think, the last time I saw a decent scoring replay, which was about 24.8 million, I think.
Wow, that's fucking
Wow.
crazy.
I'm not sure if it's the same Zap that plays Futari Black Label, though.
Huh.
Very well could be.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, it's possible, it could be. But yeah, I mean, I found that replay many years ago, and I took a lot of the strategies from it, so...
Okay. Oh man, these guys shooting all the needles on hard mode. Or, excuse me, on the second loop.
Oh yeah,
Oh my god, the suicide
Yeah.
bullets. Oh my god.
Yeah.
it
Scary.
is insane.
Damn.
That took a hit as well.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Now it's bomb spam time.
Oh yeah, that brings up some interesting points about the bomb, which I was planning on addressing. One thing some people get confused by when they first pick up the game is that the bomb doesn't seem to do a lot of damage. But the thing is, you're meant to point blank the enemies while you're doing it.
Yeah.
In fact, you're meant to stand on top of them while point blanking, because your ship actually does collision damage to the enemy.
Yep.
So if you get the slight bomb damage, plus the collision damage, plus the point blanking, you get a huge amount of damage. So that really adds a really aggressive aspect to the bombs. It's kind of like how in Tawaflin, the bomb explosion was kind of short range, so you had to get close. So if you want to be aggressive, you have to really just go in, dash in to be aggressive. You have to kind of choose whether you're being defensive or offensive there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exploiting the invincibility for that collision damage is actually really important, especially in certain circumstances with the power-up carriers. Like if you're invincible from one power-up carrier, you can sometimes use that invincibility to go jump up on top of the other power-up carrier and damage it a ton.
Exactly. It almost makes me wish the game had a kind of Garega-esque score bonuses for bombing certain points, because it's really fun to do, but it does impact your score a bit. Ideally, you don't want to never bomb except for the stage 1 boss.
hmm
So are you going to try to milk this again?
Yes.
It's hardcore.
Yeah,
I mean, you have
if
to,
the-
though. I think it's worth, what, 250,000 points? So the only
Yeah.
thing is you don't get any power-up carriers after this, so...
Yeah,
do go
if you
over the-
screw up and die here, it'll make the last boss fight quite a lot easier to die. There's not a big penalty for dying because it's the last score point, but you really don't want to die anyway.
Yeah.
It will hurt your score just a little bit. Survival isn't really a problem.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it should be mentioned that this is the only boss in the game where you can actually stand on top of him without being damaged.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can use that for point blanking, but it's not really that useful a lot of times. But you can get on top of the bullet spawners to do some hardcore point blanking if you want.
Yeah, I only do that at the beginning just to weaken them.
Yeah.
Plasma, we will be showing the secret boss replay.
Yeah.
Although it doesn't go all the way through the spider crab boss, which is a
Oh.
bummer because that boss is cool.
Dang. I could try and find another replay real quick of the spider crab. I think there's more than one.
Spider crab, oh shit.
Dude, spider crab tank bosses are amazing in shooting games. Like I'm just thinking of the one from Kamui, which is also one of the most aggravating bosses in that game. But,
Oh yeah.
But it's a cool boss.
Oh yeah, I love that boss. Okay, I found another replay for finding the full battle with the spider crab. You'll probably want to go with both replays though, because this one doesn't show all the patterns on the first boss.
Oh, okay. Then I'll
I'm just gonna
use the
send
one
it
we
to
have.
Skype. Okay. Yeah, I guess it shows everything anyway. I mean, shows everything anyway.
So, something to talk about since we're kind of seeing more of the same right now. The later loops. I mean, I know this game loops up to like 8 times. Is it basically the same deal here, or does it get harder?
It's all about the suicide bullets, but there's some very wacky ones on the later loops. Like there are these huge, chunky blue lasers that kind of trap you. There's a few that just spawn huge amounts of RNG purple bullets. Oh yeah. Also, another amazing track.
Sweet.
So we've broken the time loop at this point, and we're gonna fight the two enemies.
Man, this soundtrack is almost as good as the Rock and Roll Racing soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. The title of this track is Cooking on the Hell, which is, again, kind of Englishy, but it's awesome.
Cooking on the what? The grill?
Cooking on
the hell.
On the hell.
Man, some of these patterns
That's
though,
great.
wow.
Yeah,
it's
there's a lot of tap
it's another
dodging.
good example of how great the game is at forcing you to move, because you're kind of like macro dodging while you're micro dodging. You kind of have to go left, right, to get out of the denser spaces.
So cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. Oh yeah, the
Oh,
purple
shit.
Cheeto things are horrible.
Oh shit.
Oh dear.
The kind of wing attack of purple bullets is my favorite. You want to like go from left to right and sweep the screen to get out of dense spots for that.
Yo, sup, Glow Squid?
Yeah, I was gonna say this really reminds me
yeah.
of.
I hate this. This form is the worst.
Oh, do all your base.
Yep. I could explain this a little bit. Many of his
Oh
attacks
my
are
God.
static except for one, but his movement is completely random and he's super aggressive.
Yeah, it totally reminds me of Glow Squid.
Yep.
That's so cool.
Jesus.
Holy crap.
This is
Fucking A, what?
kind of dumb.
Yeah, it is. It's really fun though. A lot of times when he shoots those ultra fast bullets, they're either aimed directly away from you or directly at you. So it's either move or tap.
Oh, that was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Well
That's
played,
it, yeah.
Icarus.
Thank you. Yeah, I was quite
Also-
pleased with that run.
Yeah. Also,
Yes,
the
you
final
should
boss, the PLB does not have a bomb shield, so if you can point blank him, you can do a lot of damage and kill him very quickly. There's only one. I've only ever found one no miss playthrough of the game, and that one, he basically does some really good dodging on top of really well timed bombs and point blanking. It's really cool to watch.
So right now, I am reconfiguring the stream to show the hard mode replay because it's in a slightly different aspect ratio. So just bear with me for a second as
All right.
as I do that. It should only take a minute. But if you guys in the meantime could go queue up the hard mode replay.
Yeah.
First loop, yeah.
Yep, just the first loop.
Okay, cool.
Got it.
Oh man, that's so cool.
Yeah.
God, this game is so cool.
Yeah. Like I
Alright.
said, the movement on that TLB is completely random, so even though some of his patterns are static, like when he does the kind of spiral attacks, it results in some really crazy patterns that are just totally pure sight reading, so it's very fun and very reactive finale for the game.
All right, are we all queued up?
Mhm.
I'm ready, yeah.
Oh, what time? 0?
Yeah, 0.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right.
Okay.
So
0-0, Matt?
yes,
Okay.
3, 2, 1, click.
Okay.
I may need to tweak the levels in this. I don't know where it's at.
That
Grooktook.
my progress of the months I was playing. Okay, I'll just wait for the first blow spawn.
There we go.
Oh yeah, I made a mistake because at this point I didn't know about the suicide bullets actually helping your score, so I point blank here for fun. without realizing it. Okay, so there's the first laser. They come in these little lasers that kind of spread out a bit. It forces you to move pretty quickly to get out of the way. But another big aspect of them is that since they're so long, they cut off your paths. So if you want to kill everything or avoid difficult situations, you really have to get around them very quickly.
So this is hard mode again for those who are just joining us.
Yeah.
So it seems like the main difference is the suicide bullets.
Yeah.
Wow, those are nuts though.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I want to mention is that unlike the aim purple bullets on Loop 2, these ones are very random, even just when dealing with a single enemy, because they can either be aimed straight at you, or to your left, or to your right, and they're kind of wide, so you need to react pretty carefully to dodge them.
Neat.
And there we go with that invincibility thing that we mentioned earlier.
That was
that's
pretty cool.
It's pretty much vital for this mode. You have to plan a lot more because there's more suicide bullets on screen, so you have to plan when you're going to get that invincibility if you want to grab both power rings. Or other points, you have to plan on point blanking everything. Oh shit! I didn't restart there. I guess I was just. Usually I do that when I've been playing for a long time and I'm just tired of restart syndrome.
Yeah.
It's not a big loss, but I'm trying to iron out things like that for my next attempt at the game.
How long did it take you to get the score, by the way?
Let me see. I think I started playing it in I was introduced to the game by a friend in December, and I kind of went to hard mode right away. And then I think I got it right before summer started, so a season basically.
Wow.
That's not bad, yeah. It's pretty fast.
Yeah. Thank you. As you can see, there's a safe spot in the corner there.
Oh man, those suicide bullets.
Yeah, I love doing that. That is super
Pretty
fun
troll.
God.
Yeah.
That shit was pretty real.
Yeah, it's pretty big multitasking, which always screws with your brain because they're coming at you from both angles. And here's where things get really frenetic. See, I have a new strategy where if you observe, there's a lot of really cool tricks for getting all the power frames. Like right there where I failed, if you go for it right away, you can sit there and you'll get the power frame, all three of them, just as the enemy's bullets are just closing on you. It's really consistent and but it's really tense and really fun.
Yeah, you have to be quick to go for that one.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So again, you don't need a bomb to do that if you're quick enough. I kind of was making up routes on the fly, so it took a while to learn it. So I'm still improving it.
So Jamers mentioned in the chat that hard mode starts at loop 3 and is loop 3 and loop 4.
Yeah, it's loop 3 and loop 4. And then if you want to see the extra loops, basically what you have to do is you have to 2-all hard mode and then just press continue on the title screen, and that'll send you to loop 5 and loop 6 respectively. And you can keep going until you reach loop 8.
Oh, damn, okay.
Does it carry your score through, or do you have to start over each time?
I think it doesn't carry your score through. It's essentially a new run.
Okay.
It's kind of like a secret difficulty mode. Now here, unfortunately I did not go for the secret mode. I think I didn't know about it or hadn't tried practicing it yet. This was kind of a survival run. Basically, I had been working on surviving hard mode for about a few months, and then I got it, but I wasn't happy with my score, so I put in another credit the next day, and I managed to pretty much massively improve the score. But there's still a very heavy survival emphasis here.
Bananamatic. It's like being super troll.
Yeah, it can be annoying at times. I do like the power-up rings because it's really it's completely different from the rest of the way the game is played. Like you go from micro dodging to an almost image fight-esque methodical movement. Like you're just holding there and waiting to the last moment to move out of the way as the bullets close in on you. It's quite pretty fun. I like it. But it is annoying when you tap slightly too far.
So, are things in general faster than in this loop, or?
Nah, sadly it's pretty much the same. But like I said, the random suicide bullets pretty much completely change your route. Like there's no way of really having a consistent route here. You can't steal all the bullets, so you pretty much just have to do what you can, just react and improvise and change on the fly.
Which is kind of a bummer. I mean, it would be neat if the game had a second loop with different boss patterns,
Yeah,
for example.
it especially hurts the boss battles, I feel, because they're not any harder than they are on normal mode. Well, except for two of them. But, yeah, they're kind of, once you master them, they're not nearly as hard as the rest of the game.
It's a little deceiving because there is already, like, really fast stuff in the game, so...
Yeah.
But, I mean, the stages are much more dense, it looks like.
Yeah, definitely.
Just because of those suicide bullets.
Yeah. If you could, when I was doing fine on normal mode and getting really consistent, near perfect runs with normal, the hard mode was still, like, killing me on the first loop outright. So, it's nothing compared to, like, you know, Tuang anything or Ketsui's first loop, but you really do need to use those resources or dodge really well to get through it. Like if you're not doing too well, those resources actually will dry up, and then you'll have to have a bit of a hard time recovering. But it's like I said, that's another part of why the second loop is easier, because that's when you start. If you've done well on the first loop, that's when the one-up extend train really hits hard, and then it's pretty much impossible to die once you've got 17 extends. You could die on every single boss like multiple times and still just be able to brute force your way through.
Gotcha.
So, what's the, so you made it sound like the first loop of hard mode is more difficult than the second. Is that because the change to the suicide bullets in the second loop is more predictable, or?
Yeah, they're a bit slower. There's these kind of dispersion of needles. They're also random and they're kind of big, but they're a lot slower and it's a lot easier to get out of the way and sight read them, basically.
Okay.
And also, like I said, at that point, oh yeah, I love that. These, when you get a lot of enemies on screen or large enemies, those lasers have a habit of intersecting at odd angles. It makes them very fun to sight read. Yeah, I didn't speed kill this guy as fast as Icarus did, so you do get those big, chunky purple bullets, which are a lot of fun to dodge.
That boss music's catchy.
Yeah.
That everything music is catchy.
Yeah, seriously.
Yep.
Kaboom Kid, bombing and dying is my favorite strategy. Plasma, plague.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good advice.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Kaboom Kid about Gurega the other day.
There you go.
Play Bach Raid, yeah, also good recommendation. Play Ibarra. I'm gonna throw my own in there.
Mm-hmm.
Play Bat Rider, yep.
Bat Rider is my favorite of the three, actually. I mean, I really should get into Gurega more, but I just love the extremely creative boss patterns of Bat Rider.
Mm. Oh man.
You're doing a good job getting around these walls.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Nice.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh!
barbecue.
Love that.
What barbecue? What?
You know, it's like when you make a crazy dodge, you just say random shit. Like, that's what that was.
I
Yeah.
think that's just you, Aquas.
Yeah, I
Alright,
think
well-
that is just you, but it's cool, and now I want to start doing it.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
yeah. You come up with creative things.
Mm-hmm.
Although now I'm thinking of oh my god, what's that card game where you like BS? You like you like you lie about what cards you put down, and then if you want to give away that you lied, you say like something in the next turn. And so me and my friends would always just make up random shit, and one of them would always be like apple juice.
Alternatively, you could always just do random expletives. It was pretty much how I'm sure that's pretty much how most players feel when they pull off something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, here the nightmare begins. I'm probably gonna use all my bombs here.
Oh my
Oops.
god.
Oh my!
Is that a bomb or?
That's
That
awful.
was
I
that
got
was a
hit.
shield hit.
Oh, okay.
Holy shit!
Oh my god. That's awful.
Yeah,
How'd
it
you
is.
like your wall? Good God.
Wow, this is
Uh,
fucking nuts.
Yeah,
Get around
it is
that
a
one.
lot of fun though.
And
I'm almost good enough to no miss no bomb this boss at this point, but it still takes it's still a pretty big wild card.
man.
I'm still thinking about barbecue. It's like you almost get grilled, you know. That makes sense.
That does make sense.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. These laser walls are pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of Mars Matrix a bit because the way they kind of spread out, it's a little bit like those bullet vomits that game sometimes use. You have to kind of like zip out of the way to get out of the way a lot of times. Plus, they kind of cut off your path. So, like as I mentioned before, so it's like I said, the movement in this game is just so good. It's really, I really find there's no other game that has quite the same sense of hyperactive movement. Is how I would describe it.
It's like you're always getting away from something, and then you're doing some micro dodge as well afterwards.
Micro dodge while you macro dodge.
I'm gonna be playing Mushi later tonight and streaming it, and then I'm gonna just be like barbecue after every
I'd love to watch
damn
that.
dodge.
Let me know when you do that because I'd love to watch. I enjoyed your last stream.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
So I've meant to mention this for like the entire episode so far, but those the green dudes that like fly in and shoot a bunch of bullets at you and run away,
Spinning around.
those are like absolutely taken from Thunder Dragon, and the bullets they
interesting.
shoot are taken from Gun Nail.
Ah,
Oh.
interesting. You guys should do an episode on Thunder Dragon 2 because I know that's
that's
Shop's
what I
game.
keep
I'm very
telling
interested in
you.
it too.
Alright.
Yeah, I should. Like, yeah, I just gotta. Like, I've been putting it off until I get the clear, and I have no idea when that's ever gonna happen. I'm so close, so I don't feel
Now
like
oh
giving
yeah,
up
sorry
on
to pick
it.
off, but there's some interesting dodging here.
Holy shit! What is
Oh
Well,
man,
What the heck?
cheese sandwich.
What?
And there's
Icarus, say the line I gave you.
Oh, too late.
Ah,
Yeah.
dang.
You gotta strike. You gotta say Roboto right away.
Yeah.
also, there's a bit of tension here since I don't have any shields for this boss.
Yeah, not having shield against this would be brutal. I would think,
Yeah,
because it just walls you in everywhere.
yeah.
Nice dodging earlier, though. I mean, that was
Thanks.
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
Yeah, I almost hit restart because I wanted to make it to at least stage 0 without a death. But I actually, the only reason I didn't hit escape key right there is because I just couldn't stop laughing at that. It was just tackled.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Have there been a lot of arrange albums of Cho Ren Sha's music?
I think there's one or two.
Because I need those in my life.
Yeah. The
There is
composer has actually done a lot of doujin albums. I haven't had a chance to really listen to them a lot, but because some of them are not on YouTube, and some of them sound like for visual novel stuff, and there's some Toho arranges with lyrics and stuff. I don't know if he's done any other FM synth tracks. I'd love to find them if he has. But you can look him up on VGM. There's a huge list of albums he's worked on. Loser Kashikiwa, I believe his name is.
I'll post it in the chat.
Sweet.
Yeah, there is a 4-disc soundtrack set out there, which I do advise you'd look for because it's got some really good stuff on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. How much does
Yeah,
that
it's
run
like-
for?
A lot.
Oh, man.
A lot, yeah. It's really nice though. It's got the original soundtrack, an arranged soundtrack, and a special remix soundtrack as well. And the 4th disc is extra stuff. I haven't actually explored what's on it yet, but there's some good stuff on that. It's definitely recommended if you can find it.
Yeah, I'll look into it. I love big fancy soundtracks like that.
Yeah. Gotta
There-
love that magic of having the super fancy physical special edition collector's item.
Yeah. I have the
Put it on
band
a shrine.
soundtrack, which is a 5-disc box set, which is holy hell.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
Ooh, this section.
Yeah.
I just know if I was playing this a bunch, I would start making up lyrics for all the songs when I'm playing.
Yeah.
It seems like that kind of game with the music.
Yeah, it is. They're really they kind of have a pop kind of anthemic kind of sound.
I love this final boss theme. Oh my god.
It is great.
So great.
It's such a contrast to the rest of the soundtrack, but it's so perfect with the organs and everything. It's like the just screams iconic final boss.
Yeah, you hear that gothic feel to it and you're like, oh shit. It
Yeah.
just got real.
The track name is actually called The Impossible One, which is a perfect name for a final boss.
That's brilliant, yeah.
Yeah, all the track names are pretty good. Even
Yeah.
most of them are pretty Englishy too. So if you
Yeah.
like that, it's pretty
Uh-oh.
pretty tops.
What just happened?
Hmm?
The replay just... What?
It stopped. It's still going for me.
Yeah.
No, it's just colors on people's monitors.
What the heck happened? Okay, I'm gonna try reopening that, because it just, randomly skipped to the end, and then...
I guess
decided
YouTube,
not to-
YouTube sometimes does that for me.
Yeah, that's pretty
Like if
YouTube quality.
sometimes if the unit had a pickup,
great.
it'll not load part of the video and it'll just skip. Do you want us to pause?
Yeah, sorry.
Might as well.
Okay.
I'm just...
Okay,
I,
tell us
we're
when
going
to.
back.
I wasn't
when
watching
to
it through
click
YouTube,
it.
I was actually watching it locally, so,
Oh,
let me... I do that for all of the STG Weekly stream stuff, is I do local.
right.
So I have a backup, but it looks like I have to do a YouTube cap. So let me do that. Sorry, guys, was not expecting that.
Oh, the file cut off or something?
Yeah, it
Mhm.
I don't know why. But
Maybe it didn't didn't download it all, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe. Well, the thing though is now it won't even reopen. So I don't know what happened, and I'm not gonna question it. I'm just gonna fix the problem and keep going.
Where do you want
We
us
have,
to start it?
I don't know. Tell me where you are, and I'll go there.
I'm at 1753 here. It's the beginning of the boss.
Okay, I'll go there too.
What time?
1753.
All right.
Got live file corruption on STG Weekly.
It wouldn't be STG Weekly without technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what the problem was.
Cool. Hey, what does Cho Ren Sha stand for or mean, by the way?
It's
Rapid
like
fire.
super auto fire, like super rapid fire. Yeah.
Which
Nice.
is hilarious because you don't really need rapid fire in the game.
Yeah, the one game without autofire. Autofire.
That's cool. Also, did anyone in the chat actually play this on a 68K, or anyone here actually played on a 68K?
I should.
Giving it a
I
go.
have one.
I think I
Like-
tried it on Alamon's 68K setup. Oh no, wait, no, he didn't have it on there. Never mind.
Yeah, I
Is it-
have one.
Yeah.
I just have to set it up.
Uh huh. I'd be curious to see if anyone has any like impressions about the original version. Besides the fact it's slower, apparently.
Nope, I got nothing.
I mean, I imagine if you had. Actually,
Because-
would it sound any better if you had like a MIDI card for the 68K, or would it not even make a
No,
difference?
it doesn't
It's-
use it.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was figuring.
Did you have to use a keyboard, All Anonymous? He said he played it on a 68K. I mean, I imagine that there were some game pads.
Yeah,
But-
it's just like the normal gamepad thing. So you
Okay.
just like plug in a Mega Drive controller or whatever.
Oh, okay. This P says it's the same. Okay. I've never seen a 68K, actually.
They're really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to get into that. I originally did not play this game for a long time. I saw, like, years ago, I saw the review on the old Shmups review archive, and I thought it was only for 68K, but a year or two ago, a friend of mine actually showed me a video of it, the PC version. I was like, oh, there's a PC version? I immediately just started, like, playing it for months on end.
Yeah. Are we ready to go, or...?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I've been going. I feel really
Oh,
bad.
okay.
Oh.
Okay, so
oh.
1753?
I'm at 2030.
Okay, we can go there.
Okay, let's
See
go
you
to
right
2030.
I've literally just been going. 2030.
Alright,
I'm
that's
so
cool.
sorry.
All right, I got it.
Okay,
Ready?
Yep.
2030?
3, 2, 1, go.
okay, so we're fighting the flies here. Oh, and no bombs. So as I mentioned earlier here, this is where all those streams of bullets can really cut off your path and force you to move up against the walls. It's really fun.
Yeah, I mean, it just gets really,
Oh,
really
darn.
intense in these later stages.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Purple.
Yeah, that mushy feel, I guess.
Oh my god.
Or rather, pink purple.
Speaking of pink, is Pink Bullets Volume 2 ever gonna come out? Because I want one. I mean, I know none of us know that. I'm just thinking out loud.
Mm-hmm.
Man, those explosions are nice.
Oh yeah, it's definitely, I'd rank it alongside Ikaruga for soundtrack. I mean, Ikaruga is my favorite for sound effects and explosions, and this game is just as good, I think. I mean,
Yeah,
great
sound effects are... There's a lot of sound effects. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, they're all very nice and chunky sounding. In the interview, it has a funny way of handling sound effects where, because of the way the X68000's hardware works, you couldn't play them all at once, so we had like priorities for. Sometimes they get mixed out. Also, yeah, I love those triangle guys.
Yeah, that enemy is great.
Yeah, they're really great enemy types. Like all the Zackos, hovering around you, and those big guys cutting off your path while shooting everything everywhere. It's great. Basically, when I was playing this, I did very little practice. I have this kind of policy where I kind of do it the way Dell and Kagar do it, where I just play through and I don't practice anything I haven't seen yet. So my performance on this boss is a little bit crappy. I don't know about the secret trick yet for scoring, So that is one part where I definitely want to improve.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of improvising a bit on the boss patterns.
Chambers.
Yep.
Posting that on every boss fight.
Yeah.
So, All Anonymous, I'm not sure if he was replying just about the fact that the original 68K version is slower, but does it have slow down that
Probably.
kicks in or anything like that? That's
I
different.
would not be surprised.
Because that would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it might actually help during some of the really crazy
Yes.
later loop stuff.
One would think.
Yep.
Nice kill there.
And then it would actually look cool too, because slowdown is always cool, right?
Yeah.
I disagree.
Alright. And then let's just watch a minute or two of this to see what the different suicide bullet type is. And then go ahead and go to the secret boss rush.
Alright.
And maybe you guys can start introducing that. Oh wow, these are totally weird.
Yeah, they're pretty huge.
They're huge and there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like I said, they're a lot slower. So that really puts them slightly below the purple lasers. And the other thing is they don't cut off your path as much. Because they're just kind of like one at a time in a row. So you don't get with the purple bullets, you might want to go to a specific place on the screen to macro. But your path can get completely cut off.
Oh, that's really interesting. All right.
Yeah. They're both pretty fun, but this one is more like this for maximizing your score. There's not a lot of survival difficulty since you already have all those extents.
Let's move on to the boss rush.
Ready?
All Anonymous did confirm that there is in-game slowdown in the original version, so that's neat. So that's a reason to actually play the original hardware for you.
Okay, so. And
All right,
of course,
moving on.
my NPC capture is being all weird because aspect ratios. Yay! Give me 1 second. I'll just pull this out to 4:3. All right, there we go. Okay. So yeah, this. Do you maybe want to talk a little bit about how these are secret and how to access them?
Yeah, there's a secret code you can do at the options menu. You basically hit up a certain number of times. I usually just mash it without counting, but that takes you to what's called Kakuze mode, which means everything mode. And from there, it's basically a big debug menu, which lets you use stage select, which is very useful for practicing scoring routes, but also lets you do things like change the ship speed, change the bullet speed. You can make them faster, you can make them slower, and also on the stage select. If you can keep setting the stage up, and eventually it'll hit F, I think, which is a secret boss rush stage, which contains some prototype bosses that the developer cut from the game because I have no idea. But they're very fun and very cool and worth taking a look at.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and it also for Bara fans, it also opens up with the stage with the word "Showtime" on screen, which is great.
Oh, that's beautiful. All right. Oh, you hold up at the options menu. Okay. All right. Are we all queued up?
Oh wait, can you send me the video? Yep. I don't have it. I lost it.
It is.
Let me see. Okay, here it is. The secret boss rush mode. Let me just open that up.
Yep, I just resent it. Yeah, Salunas, we actually have another video of that's going to be coming up right after this one that just shows one of the stage 6 boss being played with very, very low bullet speed.
Yeah, and that results in, since that doesn't adjust the fire rate, that results in a lot more bullets being on screen.
It's super
if you didn't like the game as is, you could probably have a lot of fun just tweaking the bullet and ship speeds. You can,
you can do so much to it.
Yeah, you have no idea. The fastest bullet speeds you can set are unreactably fast, so you can enjoy playing around with that if you like.
Sweet.
Anyway, I'm
I
queued
can
up.
play it like a Psycho game now.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you could do... Anyway, are we all queued up?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So then, boss rush on 3, 2, 1, go. Showtime! I do apologize for my chair, but...
So anyway, that guy, when you get close to him, he shoots off those kind of waves defensively.
What is this? I have
Pretty
not
amazing.
seen any of this, actually.
Yeah.
He's-
Also,
we're
he
probably gonna
didn't
play
show
this
it,
twice,
but
it's
there's
super
one more attack that boss has if you leave him alive. He basically wiggles the two Vulcans like Blackheart. Oh, also, this guy is basically the TLB. He has the same patterns and everything, except he doesn't move around randomly. So you can use this to practice some of the TLB patterns.
Oh, wow.
And finally is the spider crab, and it's a damn shame this guy didn't make it.
Oh my
He's
God.
I
awesome.
know, it's
That's
so
so
great.
sweet.
It's so great.
Amazingly fun patterns too. Like I said, the
Damn.
patterns here are so simple, but they're so much fun. They're just really intuitive, and they put a lot of pressure on you without being too hard.
So I'm gonna go ahead and replay it.
Right.
Okay.
Because they're just super cool.
Yeah, it's worth watching again.
So it kind of bums me out that there are bosses with these kind of patterns in the game, and yet these kind of patterns don't show up even in the loops. Like, I feel like there's a missed opportunity there.
Yeah.
But there's
yeah.
so much content as there is. I mean, I don't mind it really.
Yeah, it's a shame. It makes me kind of wish the developer would do a sequel, because like he says at the end of his interview back from like 2006 or 7 or whatever, he says like, now that game development is so easy on different platforms, I really want to make a new game once I get some time off from work. But then again, I've been saying that forever.
Plasma what? I'm not sure if that's safe for our chat.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, this spider crab boss is just so cool.
Yep.
All right.
He
So,
is German, after all.
oh boy, we're going places. So I'm gonna open up the video showing kind of the different secret menu settings. So this one is going to be, whoops.
That game over jingle is great.
Yeah,
that's really nice.
Oh, also another thing, it's not shown in any of these videos, but it has a really great game over score entry screen, where basically it's black, kind of slightly changes color over a while, but it's got all the enemies in the game like floating around and shooting at each other, and it's like a little toy box of every enemy in the game. And if you wait long enough, eventually all the bosses and the TOB just come on screen. It's really cool.
That's
Yeah,
super
it's
cute.
really
Yeah, it's super cute, but also if you played Crimson Clover, the original doujin version, I think the score entry screen in that version is based on that, because it's the same exact setup where you have in the background the enemies, messing around in a little toy box while this upbeat tune plays. That's the one thing I don't like about World Ignition. They removed that screen. It was so good.
All right, so are we all queued up with the stage 6 boss video?
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is really cool. This is just
Just,
showing off the extent to which you can change the gameplay experience by changing settings in the secret menu.
Yeah, this is basically Toho Damaku mode.
So, all right, 3, 2, 1, click. So this is the stage 6 boss, same patterns as what we saw before. The only difference is that the enemy bullet speed has been toned down substantially.
Yeah.
And the result is really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
And also, like I said, you can change the ship speed too. So if you want to like go full Damaku mode, you could just change the ship speed to be more comfortable for this and just play it full on like this.
That's pretty good.
Man, this guy needs his morning coffee.
Yeah, that's how I felt getting up to this episode.
Yeah. It's like me all every episode.
Yeah, it's definitely same.
This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought it's really interesting because like now it's like a serious Danmaku all of a sudden.
Yeah. Or like I said, again, you could turn up the bullet speed and go like Psycho second loop.
I mean, this is too slow, but you know, there's probably a happy medium where you could do
Yeah, exactly. There's quite a few.
Cho Ren Sha.
It goes
Ooh.
1, 2, 3, and then like it goes like 1A, 1B. So you have quite a few options for changing everything.
This goes to show how much bullet speed changes gameplay, even when it's not even when it's not even this drastic. Just
Yeah.
little changes.
Well, I mean, and it's nice that it has that kind of a detailed debug menu if you're interested in just looking at how the game is programmed
Yeah,
and understanding
exactly.
how it works. I mean, the fact that it gives you so much control.
It's
and
great
so
for
much freedom
practicing
to
the game
experiment,
too.
I think it's great as a learning tool as well if you're interested in making games. So.
Yeah.
Make it rain.
There's actually a few, if I remember correctly, there's a few options in the debug that I don't even know what they do. There's a few empty stages and tests like that, and a few settings which I'm not entirely sure on. But like the first three you control, you can also set the loops to like loop 8 and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you can manually select loops and whatnot, which is pretty neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought this was kind of a great way to just
Yeah.
it's
The exact
it's a
opposite kind of game.
yeah, very much so. He dies right at the end. Oh man.
Good death.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty great. So, so yeah, you know, I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know. Are there any outstanding questions from chat? Anything that we want to talk about that we haven't gotten the chance to?
So the developer's name, Famibe no Yoshin, is that like the guy's name or what? Like, what is it? What is that exactly? Is this an alias? Okay.
I
So
think he also has some sort of strategy game or something on his website that I've never tried, in Japanese, of course. But he has a few programming things on his website stuff besides this.
Okay.
Yeah, and this game is freeware, so it is publicly available for free on Famibe no Yoshin's website, and we're going to put up a link to it in the description for the finished video, and we can probably do that now. If one of you guys could go look it up, that'd be awesome. Drop it in chat.
Mm-hmm.
So you should definitely check it out if you haven't played it yet. It's a super cool game. Just really amazing game.
Yeah, exactly. To me, you know, it seems really simple, but it really stands out from
Thank
the
you.
rest because it's, like I said, it's got that kind of cave-ish bullet hell appeal, but it's also, it emphasizes the fast movement a lot, which I feel really brings it closer to the spirit of older, you know, Twelfth and Shmups and whatnot. Because, like, the thing I like about older games is, you know, since it's not as dense, it often emphasizes dodging with a faster move speed. So you kind of compensate for the lack of complexity with a more visceral, more tense, and speedy kind of dodging, which is really unique and fun in its own right. And this game, it kind of takes that and it uses the smaller hitbox. And it just finds a way to like, keep you moving in that same way, while also having some fairly complex side reading at times. Like, you know, you saw in hard mode and on the loop some of those really interesting pattern synchronization moments you get. So it really kind of has like the best of both worlds for both kind of subgenres, I feel. I think it's really worth trying out, especially if you're new, or like if you're the kind of guy who loves cave shooters and whatnot, then you're probably best off starting with hard mode because that gets a lot more intense a lot early. But for everyone else, I would recommend normal because it's a lot of fun either way, and it's a great game for beginners or experts, I feel.
Scrub
Yeah.
Trash, if you got it from the site that we linked, it's not a virus or a bot or anything.
Yeah, Chrome just likes to throw that warning at like everything that people don't download a million times a day.
Yeah.
Basically, if it's like, you know, an executable file or a zip file or something that Chrome doesn't know is well, you know, frequently downloaded, it throws up a warning, which is actually good design, but it's, you know, it can be bothersome in cases like this.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm gonna have to echo the sentiment that it's a very good intro shooting game.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was one of the games that got me into the genre, so yeah, it's legit.
Yeah, I'd say it's really good pick because I mean usually it's like we can guide to what Eden's Aegis and like Bluish Resurrection, which are also freeware and like kind of like bullet hell, but this one I think might even be better suggestion than those games for a beginner shmup game. It's really nice.
It's a totally
game
different
is
kind of
very
game.
simple.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
it's
That's
nice
one
to have
thing-
that option because Eden's Aegis and Bluish, they're fantastic games, but they're very modern. They're very Dunmark
Yeah.
and very
Yeah.
cave
Exactly.
style. This
That's
is a
the-
very different experience, and I think it kind of opens you up to both the newer and
Exactly.
the older schools of shooting games.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
one thing I kind of miss about older shooters. Like, every game has had a different hitbox size, a different speed. They all kind of like feel different on a fundamental level. Nowadays, everything is Danmaku, which is great. I actually think it's, you know, deeper and better in a lot of ways. But you don't get that variety in play styles. And so it's always really refreshing when you get a game like this that takes some of those concepts, but feels really fundamentally different.
And it also has a fucking amazing soundtrack,
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which we really can't mention enough.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, Salutis. It's 3 megabytes, runs on a toaster, is freeware, and is an absolutely incredible game. There is literally no reason not to play it and or have it on
Exactly.
your computer.
Yeah.
Cool.
Although, unfortunately, it will not run on a PSP that I can figure out, which is really bumming me out, because portable Cho Ren Sha would be like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
man.
also a bit difficult to record and stream due to the way the window works on Windows mode, but it's workable around if you want to.
Yeah, because it's like DirectX like 4 or 5 or some shit, because it's ancient.
Yeah.
The guy who posted those last two videos found out a way to live stream it. I'm probably going to have to ask him because I would really like to start streaming like practice runs of
I've
no
been
mix,
able
no
to stream
bombing
it.
hard mode and whatnot.
I've been able to stream it. Usually,
Oh, interesting.
you have to play around with it. I forget
Okay.
what exactly the settings I have for it were, but it wasn't like a window capture or a gain capture the way that you're used to. I think I had to use it as like a full monitor capture or even like as a video capture device for some reason. It was weird.
Okay, I'll look into that. Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, it looks like we're good. We don't have any
Yeah.
outstanding comments. So, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Huge thanks to Icarus and Squire Grooktook for both providing replays and commentary. It's been great having you on.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for having me on, yeah.
And I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. So, any other closing comments? Or
Go and play it.
Oh, and go play Final Boss too, because the last
Yeah,
boss
go play
game
Final
shows
Boss.
up. Final Boss is the best. Go play it right now.
Barbecue.
Or unless you're the creator. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get some coffee. I haven't had my morning coffee yet. Oh man.
So this
Oh,
was,
man.
this was episode 79, correct?
yes.
Oh man, 80s coming up. Oh shit.
Oh, I can't wait.
God damn.
79, signing off. And
Thanks everyone.
thank you so much for
Well.
watching, guys. See you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye.